Customer service is not about giving stuff away. It's about making people feel good about paying you.
Welcome to Leaders of the West, a podcast for innovators and changemakers. I'm your host, Jessie Jarvis, the founder of the West, and I'm sitting down with agriculturalists, entrepreneurs, executives, and everyone in between with the goal of digging into the strategies, mindsets, and lessons that have been crucial to the success of ag and Western. Whether you're carrying on the next generation of your family's operation, starting something from scratch, or determined to climb up the leadership ladder, we're going to inspire you to continue to dream big, growing not just you, but the future of agriculture and Western as a whole. Let's go. We all love a success story, so I am sharing a job seeker success from Of the West. You guys know how much I love getting your feedback about using the platform, and knowing that we've helped provide the connection point for a job seeker and employer is incredibly cool. So here it goes. After spending 4 months scouring various online career platforms, chat rooms, websites, and seeking the right path, I stumbled upon Of the West. It really was a breath of fresh air. Finally, a website devoted to agricultural professions with clear job descriptions and an easy-to-use format. I was able to find the perfect fit for my passion and skill set. We're now 2 months in, and I can't imagine doing anything else. That was sent in by Lane Hale, who is the bull lease manager for 100th Meridian Ranching. If you guys are looking for a new job, or someone you know is looking for a new job, you've got to have Of the West on your radar. There's no place out there that has a wider variety of jobs in the Western industry than we do, and new jobs are added every single day. It's free to create an account, and that gives you the opportunity to add your resume into our resume database, create job alerts for specific positions and companies who are hiring, and so much more. You can go to ofthewest.co, and in the top right corner, click register to get started. That's ofthewest.co, top right corner, click register. You are off to the races.
And we're back. Brand new episode of Leaders of the West today. We're going to call this Lessons from the Car Wash. No, I'm not joking. Have you guys ever left the car wash with a dirtier car and more attitude than when you pulled in? I absolutely have. And as ridiculous as that sounds, that whole experience and the experience that followed it taught me more about business and service and human psychology than most business books ever have. So today I want to take you guys on a little ride through the car wash and share some lessons that apply whether you run a company, work for one, or you're just trying to get better at what you do. So about a month ago, I was in Twin Falls, and one of my errands was getting a car washed. My car was absolutely filthy, like all ranch vehicles are. In fact, I don't really even know why I get a car wash, because by the time that I drive home down our gravel road, my car's already layered with this thin veil of dirt, and it just goes downhill from there. Now, there are a few car washes in Twin Falls, and the one that I prefer was not on my side of town, so I stopped at one on Blue Lakes Boulevard. Now, for a long time, I didn't like the car wash, and I think I have a case of claustrophobia. Actually, I don't think this. I know this. I don't like being anywhere I feel like I am trapped. This is one of those situations where the more that I did it, the easier it got, and I am now happy to report that the last time I got nervous in the car wash was a good 10 years ago. That being said, one of my fears was always getting stuck in the car wash, which I know is kind of a common fear. And that did happen to me at this specific location. This would have been no more than 2-3 years max into our marriage. Let's just say that somebody had a little too much fun, and the outside of my car got the short end of the stick. So the next day, Justin went to a Labor Day team roping, and I proceeded to drive to Twin to run some errands, with a priority being to wash the night before from my car, and I proceeded to get stuck in the car wash. The track somehow jammed, and they had to manually push every single car out of the wash. I am proud to report that I lived through that, but I have clearly never forgotten about it. Anywho, that is all beside the point. Car washes are a great business lesson because first things first, segmentation. As soon as you pull in, if you're a member, you go this way. If you're not a member, you go that way. Those of us who are not members are inevitably going to get the, do you want to sign up for a monthly membership spiel? They're not giving that same pitch over there at the member bay. They're probably talking about the weather, what their kids are up to, some kind of adorable small talk, but that's not happening to us over in the we're not a member lane. The next marketing lesson that I've learned from the car wash, this one reminds me of the pre-check line at the airport. When you're the only car in the non-member lane and there are about 10 cars over here in the cool kids club lane, you are inevitably thinking to yourself, I need to join the club so that I can be like everybody else. You're selling yourself on it before you even get to the window. And to top it off, even though that line had 10 more cars in it, somehow they have all gotten in and gotten ahead of you, just like pre-check. These days, the pre-check line is longer than the general line at the airport, and yet somehow by the time that we have removed our shoes, which I guess isn't technically even a thing anymore, all of the people in the pre-check line have already made it through security, and they're already ordering their bagel and schmear over at Einstein's, or they're in the line at Starbucks, just laughing at the rest of us peasants. All of the people who have pre-check or who are in the car wash club, they are selling it for the company. Because we are totally beings who, whether we realize it or not, believe that if everybody else is doing that, we might be missing out if we aren't. It is FOMO meets keeping up with the Joneses all in one. I feel like I'm getting a little sidetracked because this is not necessarily what it's about, but these are just 2 lessons that I have learned while sitting in the car wash before I enter the wash. So here I am, I'm sitting at the car wash in Twin and I buy the $20 wash, which seems ridiculous because I don't even know how they know what wash I'm getting when I get into the car wash. Like, it's not like Chick-fil-A where they say, okay, you're going to follow the next person in line. So why does it matter what wash I buy? Because I don't think that the wash I buy is necessarily the wash I get when I'm in the car wash. Either way, I can tell you that there was only one wash above the $20 wash, and it was the $25 wash. And I am not spending $25 on a car wash. But the $20 wash is going to get my car very, very clean. I'm going to get all those shiny waxes. I'm here for it. I make it through the wash. I don't get stuck. I pull into a vacuum bay. And number one thing that's not great, none of the baskets have clean towels in them. There is not a single clean towel at this car wash. It's 9:30 in the morning. I don't think that there has been some massive run on the car wash this morning. So that kind of tells me they're not very prepared. I go to vacuum out my car. And I pick up a wand that is visibly broken. I go to pull it out of basically where you put the tip of the vacuum. The tip comes apart and all I have is the vacuum hose. That's also not ideal, but it's still sucking air and grime and remnants from my car seat. So we make do with what we've got. By the time I vacuum out my car, I notice that my car is still very dirty and I can't wipe any of it down because, keep in mind, there is still not a clean rag on the entire car wash complex. So I hop back in my car and I head over to get a rewash because there's still dirt everywhere. Like, this car is not clean and I just paid $20 for this thing. So I get back in line, and when it's my turn, I ask the attendant if I can go back through, and he asked what wash I bought, and I said I bought the $20 wash. And then he proceeds to tell me, oh, I'm sorry, we recently changed our policy, so you can only get a rewash with the $25 wash. What? I mean, I hope that for $25, I wouldn't need a rewash. And if you had your stuff together and you had clean towels, I probably wouldn't be attempting the rewash. But I can guarantee you that Tommy's Express over on Cheney Drive, they would not be telling me this. They would be allowing me to come through the car wash again because there are no clean towels and I exited the car wash with a dirty car. And if I was considering joining the Cool Kids Club, the membership at the Rocket Express, which is where I am now, so that you guys can make a living off of my reoccurring revenue every month, you're not selling me on it by the fact that you don't have clean towels. And I can tell by that and the broken vacuum and the, $20 you don't get a rewash, that the customer service is probably not going to be up to par if I do at some point have a legitimate problem. Because again, you guys, I am well aware in knowing that my dirty car leaving the car wash is that is a first world problem. Okay. This is not a legitimate issue, but when I do have a legitimate issue, I have a feeling based on my experience that it's probably not going to end well for me. So off I go with my half clean car, telling myself that I will never, ever, ever use this car wash again. Now, a couple of days go by and I find myself in Mountain Home. Now, I'm probably beginning to sound like a car wash snob, but this really is my favorite car wash. It opened last summer and it does a great job. And in between every other bay, they have an igloo cooler full of fresh towels. They also have at least 4 bottles of free to use all-purpose spray for your interior. They're not trying to charge you $2 for a dash wipe that is so small it couldn't even be used as a square of toilet paper. They're giving full access to their amenities for no additional charge, regardless of the wash you buy. The coolers that those clean towels are in, they are always full. So I pull up to the window, and once again, you guys, where am I? I'm in the non-member bay. And the attendant looks at me and she asks what wash that I want. And she starts to tap it into the screen. And then she says, hold on a second. She walks back to her little glass office. She comes back. She hands me my credit card and she says, I have an extra wash for you on the level that you wanted. So I'm just going to use that. It's on us today. I'm sorry. Come again. I don't know how a car wash manager has extra washes or free washes. And you and I both know it's likely some kind of ploy to get me to like them and join their club. But you know what? It's working. This is the complete opposite of, I'm sorry, you bought the second tier wash. We can't give you a rewash. I make it through the wash. I pull into my vacuum slot. All of the vacuums are in working condition. I wipe the excess dirt off the back of my car with the clean rags, which means I definitely do not need a rewash. I clean my interior with the spray versus the $2 2-inch dash wipe. The experience that I have at Tidal Wave Auto Spa, it is just that. It is like a spa. Now, based on all of that, guess which of the two clubs that I would want to join? It's probably not hard to guess, right? So what does all of this teach us besides the fact that I have strong opinions on auto detailing? Lesson number 1, smart segmentation sells for you. When people see there's a club, they want to join. It's not about exclusivity. It's about showing that something valuable exists. And if it's available to them, they are going to choose it. If it takes 10 people the same time to get through the line that it does to take me, a single car, to get through the line, that is showing me that something valuable exists because it is my time. My time is valuable. It took me just as long to do this as it took 10 times the volume to do it. That is something that is going to make me pay. Okay, lesson number 2, customer service is not about giving stuff away. It's about making people feel good about paying you. I was so frustrated with my experience at the car wash in Twin that I didn't feel good about the $20 that I spent there. But the experience that I had in Mountain Home, even though I didn't pay for it, I will go back there time and time again, and I am going to spend $20 every single time because they made me feel good about paying them. Lesson number 3, you don't have to own the business to care. The woman who was working at Tidal Wave, she didn't own the company, but she made me want to do business there again. Which, on the business note, if you're somebody who thinks that you are doing all of this really, really well, guess what? We can all get better. I know I feel that way about Of the West, whether we are supporting job seekers or helping employers hire, connecting freelancers. We want everybody who shows up to feel like they belong, whether they are part of the Cool Kids Club or not. We do not want to build a business that's just good enough. We want to build one that is generous and consistent and reliable, even in the smallest details, because that is really what is going to earn people's trust in the long run. At the end of the day, we're not talking about towels and vacuums. We are talking about moments that really are adding up to creating a lasting impression, the stuff that people feel when they walk away, even if they can't quite name it. The clean towels, that looks different, obviously, based on your business. If you are selling direct-to-consumer beef, here's an idea. Include a small printed card that says, best if thawed overnight in the fridge, or our favorite recipe for this cut, and then give somebody a recipe. Those are both really easy, inexpensive ways to help your customer feel very confident about cooking your product. And I think that when we do that, because think about it this way, you could give somebody the best cut of beef that is sitting in your freezer right now. If you ship it to them, they unthaw it, they plop it on the grill, and they burn the hell out of it, that is not a good experience for them. Maybe they didn't know how to cook it. Maybe they got distracted. Maybe they didn't have a recipe to follow. But by you providing those little tips and tricks, that is going to help ensure that they have the best possible experience, and they're going to come back and be a repeat customer. If you're somebody who is selling at a farmer's market, if you are greeting each customer with a very genuine, good morning, let me know if you have any questions, you're going to be shocked at how many booths skip this and how memorable it is when somebody doesn't skip that or samples even. Is there a product that you find people asking about or maybe hesitating to buy? If you can figure out a way to give free samples of that, that will help them make up their mind. And you're going to gain more sales than you lose with that tactic because, again, let's say somebody is hesitant and they buy it and then they decide they don't like it and that it was a waste of money. Are they going to become a repeat buyer? Probably not. Even if it's a different, they might go somewhere else to get something that they would consider to be the same. But if they were able to go by your booth, have a sample, I don't necessarily think this is what I want. They don't feel like they wasted their money and they may buy something else and like that even more. And then you have a repeat customer from that experience. If you own a boutique, this is one that I learned from Sarah Burks. Walking a bag around the counter and handing it to your customer instead of just passing it over the counter, that is a very small gesture, but it turns that transaction into an experience. If you are somebody who is a content creator, replying to a comment or a DM a day with a voice memo instead of text. It takes 15 seconds and it feels 100 times more personal because they can hear your voice and the sincerity. And it may actually be quicker for you to leave a voice memo versus typing it out, but it looks like you put more time and attention into it by taking that step. And then the last example that I'll give you, if you're somebody who's running a member-based organization, there are tons of those in our industry, sending a short welcome email to each new member with your name, a quick intro, a link to help them get started, anything like that, that just shows attention to detail and that you care about somebody's experience. And that is the point. You don't need a membership club or fancy graphics or a free wash to make somebody feel like they matter. You have to care enough about their experience to really make it a good one. And if you find yourself slipping into that, it's good enough, think of the dirty rocket and then don't be the dirty rocket. So if you're running a business, managing a team, or maybe you're just trying to build your reputation, ask yourself, am I making people feel good about choosing me? Because that is what creates loyalty. And it's something that every single one of us, myself and Of the West included, can improve on. And that's what I've got for you guys. Lessons from the car wash. If this resonated with you though, share it with somebody who gets it. And if you're looking for a platform that believes in doing the little things right, whether you are hiring, you're freelancing, you're somebody who's just trying to grow your career, check out what we're building at Of the West. And if there's something that you wish that we had that we don't already, send me an email, jessie@ofthewest.co. We read every single email. And a lot of what we have built stems specifically from people's requests. We really take that feedback into account because we want to build a platform that works for the people that we work with. So we will catch you guys back here next week. New episode of the podcast. Stay tuned. We'll see you then.
If you loved this episode, do us a favor and share it with someone else who might find just as much value in it as you did. We're on a mission to continue to grow and strengthen the future of agriculture and Western industries, and you spreading the word helps us make more of a positive impact. It also makes a big difference when you take a minute to go rate and review the show. We can't thank you enough for listening, for sharing, and for loving Ag and Western as much as we do. We'll see you back here for our next episode.